Hello, welcome back. So, in this video, we'll be learning about the concept of elementary events and what are compound events. Secondly, what are complementary events, and third thing, what are impossible and sure events. Okay, sure events are also known as certain events. So this video is basically in this video we'll be basically defining about these three things. So let us start with the first one, what are elementary events and what are compound events. But before that, you should know what is the meaning of an event. See, whenever you do, like, say, if I'll take an example, say, if I toss a coin, okay, tossing a coin, or if I throw a dice, this all are considered to be, or these all are called experiments, okay. So these all are experiments that I do. When an experiment is done, okay, so now you can do this experiment say 100 times, 200 times. So those 200 times are known as 200 trials. Got it? So these trials, now these are not important as of now, these are used for calculating experimental probability. But in this video or in class 10th, basically we'll focus on theoretical probability. So I just wanted to tell you the meaning of trials, so that's why I give you this example. Let us come back. So such things that we do are called experiment. This complete process of throwing a coin or tossing a coin or throwing a dice is known as experiment. Now when you do an experiment, say, let me take the first one, tossing a coin. When you toss a coin, you know there are two possible outcomes. Either you can get a tail or you can get a head. Okay, so these are nothing but my outcomes. Whatever possible things that I can get are called as outcomes. When I throw a dice, it is like I will get either of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 or 6. So these are the outcomes of the given experiment. So now what is an event? Let me clarify the meaning of event now. See, suppose, let me take an example. If I am tossing a coin, and I want to know what is the probability of getting a head. This is my target, that if I am tossing a coin, that I am conducting this experiment and I want to calculate the probability of getting a head. So this thing, getting a head, is nothing but my event. That I am doing this experiment, I know that possible outcomes are head and tail, but the event that I am considered about is getting ahead. So this thing will be considered as an event. Say for example, if I throw a dice, I want to get a 6. I throw a dice and I want to get a 6. So getting a 6 is my event. Similarly, if say you want to get an even number, so getting 2, 4, 6 will be your events. So I think now you understood what is the meaning of event. So whatever possible outcomes are there, that is called outcome, and in that possible outcomes, whatever you want, whatever is your favorable outcome, that is your event. Favorable outcome, according to you, according to question or as per your experiment, that will be called as event. So once now the definition of event is clear, now let me tell you what is the meaning of elementary events or elementary event. See, elementary event is like if you have only one favorable outcome. If you have only one favorable outcome, then it will be called as elementary event. For example, say when I throw a dice, when I have a dice, so I know that possible outcomes are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. But in this experiment, my event is to get a 5, right? So this is my event. Now this is one of the outcomes. Out of these 6, getting a 5 is only one of the outcomes. So this is an elementary event. Got it? This is the meaning of elementary event. Similarly, say I have a coin When I toss it, I can either get a head or a tail. Now my event is to get a tail. Okay, so this is like getting a tail is like getting one among the possible outcomes. So this is just one favorable outcome, hence this is an elementary event, right? So now I think the definition of elementary event is clear. So once you know what is elementary event, the opposite of elementary event is known as compound event, in which favorable outcomes are more than one. For example, if I have a dice and if I'm throwing it, I know that possible outcomes are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. But my event is to get a prime number, right? So this is my event, getting a prime number. So out of this possible outcomes, the outcomes that will satisfy my event is either 2, either 3, or 5. If I get 2, 3, 5, this is what my event is, this will be satisfied. Now you can see here that 2, 3, and 5 are nothing but 3 of the outcomes among the 6 outcomes. These are basically 3 outcomes out of 6 possible outcomes. So it will no longer be elementary because I'm not considered about any one outcome. I am considered about 3 possible outcomes. So my probability became 3 by 6, 1 by 2. But this event will be called as compound event. So the opposite of elementary event is compound event, in which the possible favorable outcomes are more than one. Second thing to consider is that the sum of all elementary events is always equal to, can you tell me, equal to what? Equal to 1, which is the sum of all elementary events or sum of all possible outcomes. For example, the same example, because this is example in which you can understand probability very easily. If I throw a dice, my possible outcomes are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Now each of the event is elementary event. Probability of getting 1 is 1 by 6, 2 1 by 6, 3 1 by 6, 4 1 by 6, 5 1 by 6, and again 6 1 by 6. When I will add all of them, the total that I'll get is 6 by 6, which is equal to 1. So always remember that sum of all elementary events will always be equal to 1. So I think now you have a clear picture what are elementary and complementary events. Now let us go to the second definition that we want to learn, that is what are complementary events. Suppose I am doing an experiment, right? If I'm doing an experiment and I want event E to occur. If I'm doing an experiment and I want event E to occur. Now the event E bar means that probability or the chance of not occurring of event E. If this E bar represents the chance of not occurring of E, then I will say that E bar is complement of event E. So basically complementary events are such that the event E does not occur. Those events in which the event E is not occurring are called complementary events to event E. This will be clear when I take an example. Say you are throwing a dice. Possible outcomes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Okay, so now my event is to get an even number. This is my event. Let me call this event as E. My event E is to get an even number. So what are my possible outcomes? 2, 4, and 6, right? So what is the probability of getting the event E? 3 by 6, 1, 2, 3, and total possible outcomes are 6. So it became 3 by 6, which is equal to 1 by 2. Now if I will say E bar which will represent the complement of this event as equal to event or events in which I will not get an even number. Those events in which I will not get an even number are called the complementary events of our first event E. Now what will those events be? 1, 3 and 5, right? So what is the probability of getting E bar? Again 3, total 3 possibilities out of 6, so 3 by 6, 1 by 2, right? Now see one thing very carefully, this 1 by 2, this 1 by 2, when I'll add them together you will get equal to 1, right? Let me take one more example. Say if I'm throwing a dice, my event E is to get a number less than 4. My event is to get a number less than 4. So what will be my E bar? That is complementary of E. It will be getting a number greater than 4, right? Agree? Now I know my possible outcomes are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. Now getting a number less than 4 means probability of getting E is, what are the different cases possible? 1, 2 and 3, right? So the probability will be 3 by 6, that is 1 by 2. What is the probability of the complement of A, that is E bar, that is getting a number greater than 4? Tell me, getting a number greater than 4, 5 and 6. So it will be 2 by 6, which is equal to what? 1 by 3. Now again, when you will add them, are you getting 1? Is it equal to 1? No, it is not equal to 1. Why? Because see this carefully. Our event E is to get a number less than 4. So what will be our E bar? See this very carefully. E is the probability of getting a number greater than 4. So E bar will be getting a number greater than or equal to 4, right? Because even 4 is not lesser than 4, 4 is greater than, 4 is equal to 4, and since our event is getting a number less than 4, that is 1, 2 and 3, so remaining set of things are my E bar, which will be considered as a number greater than equal to 4. So for E bar, my total cases are 4, 5 and 6, which is not 2 but 3 by 6, which gives me the answer 1 by 2. Now when you'll add 1 by 2 plus 1 by 2, you will get it equal to 1. So from this I derive a very important relation that P of E bar, that is probability of getting a complementary event, is nothing but equal to 1 minus probability of getting an event E. This is a very important relation with respect to complementary events. That is, probability of getting an complementary event of something is equal to 1 minus probability of getting the event E, right? In next set of videos that we'll see after this video, I'll solve a lot number of questions in which the concept of complementary events will be pretty much clear. The last thing in this video is what are sure or certain events and what are impossible events. So as you can see, the word itself says impossible event means it can never occur. Okay, so impossible event means it can never occur. So probability of getting such thing is equal to 0. And sure or certain events, it means whatever you do, these events will occur for sure. So probability of getting this is always equal to 1. Say for example, if I am tossing a coin, I know that possibilities are head and tail, right? So if I'll ask you, I want to, like, my event is to get either head or tail. Probably, like, my event is to either get a head or tail. Now you know that I can get only head or tail, there is no other possibility. So this event will be considered as a sure event with a probability equal to 1, right? And second thing, a possible event, say I have a dice, I know the possible outcomes are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6, and my event is to get a number greater than 6. Is it ever possible? Because I know that whatever I do, these are only my possible outcomes. I'll get a number from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. I can never ever get a number greater than 6. So what is the probability of this event? 0. Hence, this event is impossible event, right? So now I think that you might have a clear picture what are impossible events or sure events or complementary events, what are events, and so on. So in next set of videos, we'll see a lot of questions related to probability. So I hope you like the video. I hope your concepts are clear. Please subscribe our channel for more updates. Thank you for watching. Have a nice day.